In a quiet part of Bathurst, where the sunset painted the sky in hues of gold and orange, a ray of hope was emerging. This is the story of Glenray. It is a tale of unwavering determination, a story of dedication that knows no bounds. In the year 1953, a mother named Beryl Dowling had a dream. Her son was unique, and she yearned for opportunities that would allow him to flourish. Like all parents, she dreamt of an education, a sense of belonging, and a chance at a future for her son. Mrs. Glen Fogarty, a teacher and wife of a local doctor, heard of her quest and reached out. She too had been trying to help a child with similar needs. Together, they approached the Mayor of Bathurst, Mr. Parnham, and a public meeting was called. The year 1956 marked the inception of a committee and the formation of the local branch of the Subnormal Children's Welfare Association. Their goal? To create a school for children with disabilities in the area. A glimmer of hope was ignited. The Methodist Church offered an old horse stable behind the William Street Church. It was a humble space in dire need of renovation. Over 3 months, a group of dedicated volunteers, fueled by community support, transformed it, and so the first school for children with disabilities in Bathurst was born. They named it Glenray Special School, after Mrs. Glen Fogarty, combining Glen from her name with the ray of hope that this school represented. On July 17, 1957, with 8 children and 1 teacher, Mrs. Hill, Glenray opened its doors. Swings and a slide outside and a piano inside brought smiles to children's faces. In those pioneering days, Mrs. Kenny and Mrs. Lloyd were integral in finding innovative strategies for teaching these unique students. So they travelled far and wide, eager to learn from the experts. As the school continued to grow, a need for more permanent premises arose. The community rallied. The Mothers Club, later the Glenray Women's Auxiliary, organised cake stalls and fetes, while Mrs. Alsop and Mrs. Williams opened an opportunity shop in the front window of Harold Wheels Dry Cleaners in George Street. The efforts of many, including service clubs and volunteers, raised over $16,000 in just 4.5 years. In November 1961, a new school building in Browning Street was built and stood tall, with 25 students and 3 teachers, Mrs. Lloyd, Mrs. Kenny, and Ms. Mill. The Mothers Club evolved into the Glenray Women's Auxiliary, and their support continued for decades, making a difference to the lives of countless children. The school was transferred to the Education Department in 1971 and later changed its name to Karen, continuing to be a pillar of support and guidance for young people, providing them with exceptional education to this day. Glenray's focus on education never wavered. Innovative programs like GETS, Glenray Education and Training Service, and BASS, Bathurst Adult Support Service, transformed into the Glenray Lifestyle and Learning Centre, offering diverse group activities and engaging learning experiences. In 2016, they moved into modern, purpose-built premises at Browning Street, delivering support to over 70 people each week, providing opportunities for personal growth. Glenray, a ray of hope that turned into a beacon of support and growth for children and adults living with disabilities. A story of love, determination, and unwavering community support. The Glenray story continues to shine bright.